I am so excited to be sharing these with you today. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have my top 5 cozy mystery series that I would recommend if you are just dipping your feet into cozy mysteries but you don't really know where to start, or you're kind of overwhelmed because there's so many options. I have a best cozy mystery that's themed with food. I have a best historical one. I have a couple really fun options for you. Actually I have 2 food ones. I love food. But I have a fun library book themed one for you guys, because I know a lot of people, including myself, love one from the point of view of a librarian or bookshop owner, something like that. Anything involving books, of course. Most of these are some of the first ones I read that really sucked me into the genre, and you're looking for some good reads. I hope you'll stick around, and let's go ahead and jump into this video. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amy Marie. I'm a mystery obsessed person. Whether it's a fictional or non-fictional mystery, my channel focuses all on mystery books, non-fiction and fiction, as well as talking about real-life historical mysteries. So if you love mysteries as much as I hope you hit subscribe, and let's jump into this video. So I have to start with the very first one. This was before I even knew what a cozy mystery was, this is what got me into the genre, introduced me to it. And that is the series by Chris Cavender. This is a pizza lover's mystery. I think I actually own 4 of these. Yeah, I have one up here, which is the pepperoni pizza can be murder. I have another one on my shelf, and then these 2 here. So I actually own quite a few of these, and these are just delightful. I mean, really lovely reads. The main characters are so fun and feisty, but just lovely women, which I love. So the main character's name is Eleanor Swift, and she owns the store A Slice of Delight, which, as you guessed it, is a pizza shop. Amazing. And so she works on it with her sister Maddie, who I love the dynamic between the 2 sisters. Her and Maddie are very different in personalities, but they work so well together and just, really help each other out. All of us have our strengths and weaknesses, and they both fill those in for each other, and it's just beautiful. It's heartwarming. I love cozy mysteries that really focus on strong female friendships, whether it's through blood relationships or best friends. I always am a sucker for that, so I think this is just a really endearing mystery. These books are just beautiful. The first one is The Slice of Murder. That is the first in the series, which I personally like to try to read them in order. You can definitely jump into any of them, so if one of them stands out to you, all of these mysteries that I'm going to talk about today, you can just pick up any of them and start reading. But I like to read them in order. So if you are going to start from the beginning, this is A Slice of Murder. And basically a quick synopsis of the plot, no spoilers for any of these, is that Eleanor Swift, she's continuing her work at A Slice of Delight, and she is mending herself over a broken heart because unfortunately her beloved husband Joe has passed away, which is just really sad, super heartbreaking. And they explore that through quite a bit of the series, and it's really a nice touch. I feel like it adds a lot of character depth to Eleanor. But basically she's going about her life, she's just trying to pick up the pieces, and she's making pizzas and continuing her work, but one of her late night delivery customers ends up dead, which of course, not an ideal pizza delivery right there. She ends up having to work on clearing her name for the murder and just trying to figure out what happened to this customer, because she did care about them. They were a frequent, regular customer in her store, and her sister Maddie has plenty of appearances and helps her as well, and it's just delightful. Fair warning, you will be very hungry reading this. It's so... The way Chris Cavender describes the pizza, I recommend having something cheesy on hand while reading these, but they are amazing. I really, really like them. They were my personal start into the cozy mystery genre. Alright, next, if you are someone who really enjoys a bookish themed mystery or book in general, or you think you would enjoy something from a librarian's perspective, I highly recommend Jen McKinley's A Library Lover's Mystery. So basically this follows around the main character, Lindsay, who has moved out to Briar Creek, Connecticut, which the atmosphere of this book is amazing. It's in a coastal town, so a lot of the mysteries involve island discoveries, someone's murdered on an island, or there's a treasure hunt. This is one of the later ones I'm reading. The first one in the series is called Books Can Be Deceiving. I'm currently on the 3rd one here, which is Book, Line, and Sinker. Really enjoying it. this is just one of the most well-written cozies I've ever read. The details are beautiful, the character dynamics and relationships. She has so many friends and different relationships, but they're all so fleshed out. None of them feel flat. And I particularly like that every book starts, the first chapter starts with her in her Crafternoon Club, which is a club she developed at the library she works at. And basically they meet once a week at the library and do crafts like knitting while they discuss books. And it's just so heartwarming. It's like you just want to curl up with them. Her landlady Nancy is delightful. The characters are really just beautiful and fun and so well fleshed out in this. The mysteries are great, and I love how much time is really spent in the library. So you really get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it's like working as a librarian, and I just really enjoy that. I think Lindsay's a great character, and she's just really fleshed out, and you really grow to care about her and the other characters in the story. So I really enjoy this. Again, this is the third book. The book Line and Sinker, it is a library book, which is why this is called. One of my other recommendations is also from Jen McKinley, which I can't help it, guys. She really, I have read so many of her books. This is the first one I read from her, which is the Cupcake Bakery Mystery, and this is the, how many has she written so far? So this is like the 14th or 15th book. I've read 12 or 13 because my library's missing like 1 or 2, unfortunately, so I'm trying to see if they'll hopefully get that, but I'm holding this one up. The first one in the series is Sprinkle with Murder, and basically this follows the story of Mel, who owns Fairy Tale Cupcakes, which, as you might have guessed from the cover and from the series title, A Cupcake Bakery Mystery, this is a cupcake themed cozy mystery, so there's lots of baking. There's always recipes included, which I have tried some and they're very good, which it's just a bonus because I love to bake. So again, this is one I kind of recommend having some food around if you're going to be reading it, because the descriptions of the cupcakes are really mouthwatering, which is a plus in my opinion. But Mel also works there with her best friend Angie, and it's just, again, the dynamics. I love how it's two ladies. Angie does some of the detective work with her. It's mostly Mel, but Angie definitely helps, and it's fun to see the best friend relationship between the two. The relationship that Mel has with a lot of her customers and some of her other employees is just really heartwarming. A lot of the mysteries in this series are centric on different things that are really personal to different characters, or even people that she's just met, and she's just someone who really cares deeply about the well-being of others, and so that's why she's always getting herself involved in these mysteries, because, you know, someone in her life will be framed or, you know, put like suspicion on for a murder that's committed, so she has to go out and clear their name because she believes deeply in her friends, and it's just a warming, like heartwarming series to read. It's very well written. The character dynamics, fabulous. The theme is fun. I love her town that she lives in, and the Fairy Tale Cupcakes is fun, and I like that a lot of the books are also her involved in like cupcake baking tournaments or doing different big events that she's catering, so that's really fun as well. It's just a fun read. It's also Fairy Tale Cupcakes is in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is somewhere that I have personally visited, so it's kind of fun for me personally to read a novel that was centered somewhere that I have some experience being in and I really enjoy. Alright, so next we're going to have to grab some off of my shelf here, which includes a couple of my favorites. So this, if you are someone who likes a historical mystery, if you've read historical fiction before, or you have more of an interest in history, this is the one I would suggest starting with. It's just fantastic. So these are by Rhys Bowen, and this one here has 3 of the books in one. That's why it's such a mammoth of a book. And this is one of the other ones that I have as well. It's just beautiful. So basically, these are set in England in, I want to say, like the late 1930s, because sometimes some of the novels will bring up like hints that they're approaching World War II. So I would say it's set in the late 1930s or very early 1940s. And basically, this is a New York Times best-selling author. No shocker there, because it's excellent. She's won many Agatha Awards, which is a very prestigious like mystery novel award. And basically the stories, again, this is the Royal Spinus series, follow Lady Georgina. I feel like I'm not going to say this right because it's British, but I'm going to try. They follow the amateur sleuth Lady Georgiana Brannock. I believe that's how you say it. The first one in the series is called Her Royal Spinus, and basically they follow her, and she is like 34th in line for the English crown. So she's a royal, but she doesn't have any of the luxuries of being a royal because she's so far back in the line of succession. So basically nobody gives her like allowances, and it's a time where women aren't really allowed to work, and especially someone of her like caliber, it would be very frowned upon for her to actually work because she's considered a royal, but no one's supporting her. So she ends up taking, especially in some of the beginning series, a lot of odd jobs to try to support herself. Like in the first one, I believe she takes on being a maid, but she has to disguise her identity because, you know, no one can know that this royal is working as a maid to support themselves, because that would be very outlandish and outrageous and scandalous. But what happens is that she's earning her keep as a housekeeper, and she finds someone dead in the bathtub, which is, you know, a less than ideal cleaning. That's a less than ideal work day for sure. Finding someone dead in a bathtub would be not good. But she has to clear her name, and she has to keep her royal name also a secret from the people who are investigating, because again, it would be scandalous and reflect badly on the royal family if it was discovered that a lady of her caliber was out there cleaning bathtubs. Like, that wouldn't look too good. And she also, throughout the series, the queen herself ends up summoning Georgiana and discovering, you know, that Georgiana is very good. She's very observant. She's kind of like the queen herself. And so she enlists her name, she is called Georgie throughout the book. She ends up enlisting Georgie to spy on some of the other royals that she's suspicious of, or like thinks there's kind of like some, you know, not so good behind the scene things. So she enlists Georgie to spy on them. So there's a lot of interesting interactions with like other royals. It's just super interesting, I would say. Like, if you are someone who enjoys, you know, a British mystery, if you enjoy like some history thrown in there, because this does incorporate some plots and stuff. Some plots are like a little bit centric to the build-up that's happening towards World War II at the time. I really like how the queen herself enlists Georgie on different tasks. Like in the second book, A Royal Pain, she has Georgie entertain a Bavarian princess, but she ends up, you know, something goes awry and she ends up having to investigate and keep the princess safe. So it's just really fun. It's just a delightful series. I really, really love it. The other one I have is the 12 Clues of Christmas, which I'm going to be rereading this Christmas. It's a favorite of mine. I don't know how Reese Bowen did it, but she managed to incorporate 12 actual clues and different things into this book to make it fit the 12 Clues of Christmas theme without confusing you. Like, it ends up it's so well written. It's really impressive. So if you're someone who likes historical fiction and you want to kind of expand into mysteries, I would suggest these. I think they're great. This is the second cozy mystery series that really sucked me into the genre. This is Apparel by Ponytail by Nancy J. Cohen. This is not the first in the series. I was just rereading this because I love it so much. The first in the series is actually called, so they don't actually list the entire series in here, but I will put a picture of the book on screen because this is just one of the series. It's much farther into the series, but basically this follows the tale of Marla, who is a hairdresser, and she is in a town in Florida. So just fantastic writing. I really enjoy the character of Marla. She's a little more feisty. She's a spunky character. And she's definitely someone who has like her wits about her. So I find her to be a very witty character. She's very resourceful in how she goes about trying to get clues and things. It's just, again, a very enjoyable series. I really like that she's a hairdresser because I feel like that does give her a really interesting way to collect clues from people, because people often kind of spill their guts when they're in the chair, like with a hairdresser or someone who's, you know, doing, you know, like anyone who's kind of like doing personal care, like a masseuse or, you know, waxing or, you know, different like beauty services. I feel like people really spill their guts too, so it's completely like believable in that sense. And Marla herself, they really go into some of her past and things that have happened in her past that she's not proud of, and that's brought up again and again in the series. So I like that they've really developed her as a character who in the past was especially very flawed, but who's kind of overcome those flaws, who's accepted that, hey, this was a part of my past and maybe I'm not so proud of it, but I'm improved, I'm doing better, I'm continuing to work hard and just be the best that I can. And I really like that about her character. So it's just, again, a really enjoyable read. If you are someone who enjoys a little bit of romance, she does have a little bit of a romantic thing with a detective on the case, which creates some tension, of course, because they're butting heads over her and her safety, or her just, you know, pushing the lines a bit in her sleuthing. So it's just really enjoyable read. I really like her profession, being a hairstylist, because that's something I think all of us can kind of relate to, because we've all probably had our hair cut at one time or another by a hairdresser, so you kind of know what it's like to sit in the seat with a hairdresser. It's like a familiar environment that many of us could relate to being in. So I think it's a very easy to get into mysteries. So those would be my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below if you have read cozy mysteries, which one would you recommend? You know, even to someone who is a beginner, someone who's not, like, why do you like it? What would you recommend about it? Let me know if you've read any of these before. They are just some of my personal favorites, and ones that, out of when I looked at my list of cozies that I've read, these are the ones that time and time again sucked me in, are ones that I've read like every single one that's at the library so far, or in the case of the Library Lovers Mystery, I'm working on it, and I would just recommend them to anyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below what kind of books are you reading right now, and do you have a particular type of cozy mystery you like to read? Do you like the food themed ones? Do you like the ones that are themed like with crafty people or like hairdressers? Like, what kind of themes do you like to read about? So I hope you guys will hit subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, have a great rest of your day. Bye.